This is Car Guys New England, your YouTube channel for anything automotive.
Bad, cause it bit bad, short with the bad, like chips at the front, this fuck, I'm fly like a pelican in my bed, I like in my way, hella quick, they get to the hook up on the elephant, cut my trunk, yeah, it's in the front, of course it's in the back, this a big, this a real big difference, you just want a club, I just need them racks, you just wanna party, so I just wanna rock,
This is Jay with Car Guys New England, and today's a special video. I'm actually going to show you guys that you can convert your regular pumps into piston pumps, and today I'm going to do that. I'm going to take these pumps out of the car and take them apart again and convert them over. All right, so here's one pump out of the car. I'm going to have to take the fittings off and the hard lines and all that wonderful stuff. And then what I need to do is carefully take the tank off. And what I'm going to end up doing is take the tank off, take the motor off. I'll leave the pump head on the block. But what I'm going to have to do is bring the block down to my drill press downstairs. And I'm going to drill that out and make room for the new tank rods for the piston pump. So the pumps are out of the car, and now we are going to take off the hard lines first, and then I'm going to remove the check valve and the slowdown from the pump, and then I can keep breaking these pumps down. So that's what I'm going to do now. All right, let's get these. Okay, get this hard line off. Okay, now we'll do the other one. Second hard line is off. And everything's been removed from the pumps. So now using a 10 millimeter socket, I'm going to remove the motors off the blocks. All right, so the motor has been removed. The key's on there already and everything. So we're good there. Let's take off this motor, and then we're going to stand these pumps up, and then I'll take the pressure plates off. All right, so I got it down to the tank on this one. This one I just got 2 more nuts to remove, and then I can take off the pressure plate. And then the next step would be to open up the tanks while they're up like this. That way I don't spill any oil. So I'm hoping that goes well. We'll see what happens. All right, so they're both stuck on there pretty good. But I actually have a really neat trick to get the block off there without prying it or anything like that. Let me show you guys what I'm going to do. So I've attached my wife's bicycle pump to the pump. I'm just going to pump this thing up really good until this starts to separate. So the air pressure should be able to separate this for us and not make a huge mess. Well, that worked. It scared the shit out of me, but it worked. All right, so I'll disconnect it, and I'm going to put it onto this other one. As you can see, that hydraulic oil is perfectly clean, so I'll be reusing that. Now these blocks and pumps, I'm going to just let the oil kind of run off of them. I'll wipe them down, and then I'll get those downstairs so I can start drilling them out. So if you're looking to do this, just a really quick note, this is only going to work with Black Magic Hydraulics, the piston kit, or the Hop Shop Hydraulics piston kits. And what you basically have to do is drill it out with a 21/64 drill bit. Then at that point, you'll be able to get the thicker tank rods through. But it's not compatible with other people's kits. So keep in mind, Black Magic Hydraulics or Hop Shop Hydraulics. Those are the only two that will work with any block. The whole reason I'm doing this to begin with is because you cannot get a top pressure and return. Everything has side returns on it for piston blocks, and that, quite frankly, that just sucks, because you're very limited on what you can use, and I don't have the space where I have to mount the pumps right next to each other. So this is the way to go. This is the way to do it if you're looking to do it. But anyways, let's get this shit cleaned up, and then I'll start drilling this stuff out and making it beautiful. So right now is actually a really good time to take the tank O-ring off. So I'm just gonna get that off like that. All right. So I just marked it up. I haven't drilled out anything. I just want to make sure that I have enough room for the holes. Between the holes in the tank before I go drilling into a block. But so far, everything that Hop Shop Hydraulics has told me seems to be true. So we'll keep moving forward here, and we'll try this out. Okay, so we got our drill bit set up. I've covered the pump head just so nothing gets into it, and on the block I'll wipe it down after I'm set, but I'm gonna start drilling out these holes. So there's one hole, no turning back now. Okay, and as we can see, tank rod fits, and there's plenty of room for the tank and the seal, so we're good. All right. So now we've laid out all of our parts. I got the piston tanks there, and my piston end plates. So as you can see, they didn't even bother polishing these. I have a pretty cool idea. Actually, I'm going to reuse those by basically adhering those to these with 3M tape, I think. I think I'll use 3M tape. But I need to buff the edges of these so they look nice. So I'm going to work on that. I just put these fittings in here just to cover the holes, since the gauges, stuff like that, isn't in here yet. But I'm going to get this all shiny, run that on the buffer, and then I can start putting these pumps together. We're going to polish these end plates. I've already taken the O-rings off, and I just put these fittings in just to protect the threads from compound. So I'm going to dress the wheel. I'm going to hit it with the cutting compound first, and then I'll do the red jeweler's rouge after. Okay, so we've dressed the wheel, and now at this point we're just going to start buffing the aluminum. And there's still some compound on here, but you can see that it's polishing up quite nicely. So I've taken the edge down on the sides. The face I'm not really too worried about, and I'll show you guys why in a little bit, but I'm just going to keep working these sides, especially the, the left side, right side, and the top. Obviously I want to get it as smooth as I possibly can so it looks good, but we're definitely getting there. So the end plates have been polished on the sides. I didn't really do the faces, and you'll see why in a few moments, but what I need to do next is take my tank, which the fill plug is going to be closest to the block. So I'm going to just gently turn this over, and okay, so I got that turned over. I'm going to grab my piston, okay, And what you're gonna want to do, you'll see that there's two faces on the piston. There's a shallow end and a deep end. The deep end is going to face the pump head. So it's gonna face that way. What I need to do, and since I have a big oily mess all over the place here anyways, I'm just gonna wipe some oil. Let me get some. There we go. So I got some oil on my fingers, and we're just gonna oil up the O-rings a little bit. And also I'm gonna wipe the inside of the tank using some oil. Okay. And just wipe that inside. So it's nice and oily. Okay. And now at this point, again, we just make sure that this is facing the right way. And we're gonna need to press that in. So the tank has the piston installed in it, and I have that tapped in, hopefully just enough where that'll sit in, which it does. So we've oiled the inside of the other tank, and this one, I'm gonna seat it flush. Take my protective rag, and then you're gonna tap it in flat, which it's not quite flat, so we'll just very gently tap it in, which now it's going in flat. So let's it's in. Okay, so the piston's in on the second tank. I don't know if it's deep enough yet. You can reset these if you go too far. That needs to come down a little bit more. So we'll just protect the piston. Give it a little tap. Check the end plate. And now it seats flush. All right, so now we're gonna bring the end plates in the house and the old end plates from my old pumps, just because I want this to match my rear pumps in the car. So I'll show you a cool little trick that I'm gonna do. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take some JB Marine Weld, mix it up, and then I'm gonna put it on the face of the faceplate. It's not a perfect fit on the end of the piston, but at least the eye won't be drawn to it, the fact that it's a piston. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and get this stuff mixed up and taken care of. All right, so these have been epoxied onto the Black Magic end plates. So the next thing that I need to do is I just need to use a little bit of threaded rod and a nut, and then it'll look like conventional pumps from the end. All right, so the nuts have been cut down, and I'm just gonna whip up some more of this JB Weld for marine applications and put that in those spots. All right, so the nuts have been epoxied in, so these look pretty sweet, and we'll just let that cure, and then we can finish assembly of the pumps. So now we're gonna put our O-rings on the back plates, and then screw in the tank rods. The shorter end goes into the end plates. So I'm going to do that. Real simple. Just get our O-ring on. And obviously, you know, I'll oil it up before I go to put that on. So there's one. Okay. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's on. And I got the rods attached. So now what I'm going to do is put a little bit of oil on the inside edges of those pistons before I go to assemble those and put the tanks back on the block. So I'm going to do that real quick. Actually, what I'm going to use to do this would be the end of this threaded rod. I think that's perfect. I'm just going to let the oil sit on that. Just a little. And then I'll wipe up any excess oil. All right, so now I'm going to take the block and the pump head and just set them up like that. Then at this point, I'm going to take the tank and I'm just going to line it up nicely over that. I want to make sure that the oil fill port is straight. And then we're going to push down, so I'm going to need both hands to get that on there. But that looks lined up pretty good. So we'll get that in place. And now I'm just very carefully going to take the end plate and try to line this up. I'm going to need both hands for sure here. And what you want to do is get everything lined up so I can start pressing that together. So after I got that together, I'm just going to use a 1/2 inch socket and basically just tighten up these nuts. I'll just get them all down first, and then I can snug them up once I'm ready to go there. Okay. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to crank them down and get them nice and snug. And now my favorite part, which is connecting the motor to the pump. So we'll go ahead and do that. And that's how you convert a standard pump into a piston pump. So the dead giveaway that it's been converted is that the return's on the top and pressure outlets on the top as well. So yeah, that's how you do it. If you're looking to do this, you know, I'm kind of keeping this as my little secret mod. So I'm gonna wait a while to release this video. But yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And there is 2 pumps that started their life at the beginning of this video as regular pumps. Now they are mutant pumps, but this will work out in my car, so I'm very happy about this. So here's proof that you can convert regular pumps into piston pumps. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give the video a like. If you have questions or comments, comment down below. This is Jay with Car Guys New England. Until next time, take care.